Yes, so we welcome you here. This evening we are here at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Back here. We're here last week to play Chapelton. However, tonight we're playing the host, Arnett Gardens, in the jungle. It's first versus third. And a win today would guarantee that Mount Pleasant finishes in first place as we take an early shot at the crowd here. Captain McCullough in the stands tonight. That looks to be Walsh, the man beside him. Is it? So, yes. It's Arnett Gardens, the host here, versus Mount Pleasant as we get ready for the introductions with both teams coming out. Going to give you the starting teams in a bit as we take an early shot at the teams here. Referee Nation, the man in the middle tonight. So we're going to pause now for the national anthem of Jamaica. We'll join you after the anthem. So there you have it, the starting lineups. Now we're going to give you, after the national anthem, you just got that. So we have for Arnett Gardens, Jay Wall, number 1. Kimani Arbor, number 12. Joel Jones, number 6. Jeremy Nelson, number 21. Fabian Reed, number 13, the captain. Shea Smith, number 11. R. Ricardo Thomas, 16. Roshane Thompson, number 22. S. Watson, number 3. Philando Wing, number 19. And S. Wizard, number 27. So that's the starting lineup for the Arnett Gardens team. The coach, of course, is Xavier Gilbert. And now for the starting lineup for Mount Pleasant. So Tafari Chambers returns in goal. Gadale Irving, number 2. Exodus Angelo, number 29. Jashaun Anglin, 17. Number 12, Kivoni Bailey. Number 24, Franco Celestine. Number 33, Shaquille Dwyer. Number 25, Raheem Edwards. Number 15, the captain today, Kyle Ming. Number 19, Nicholas Nelson. Number 26, the man from Haiti, Clifford Thomas. So, return for Shaquille Dwyer here. And also Anglin coming back into the starting team. Have been making some substitutes appearances, but he's back in the starting lineup here. Edwards chasing 4 goals in 4 matches would take him to 12 goals. And a win today for Mount Pleasant would put them firmly in first place. It means that no team. So Nelson gets us underway. Pass back to Anglin, who will come to the left hand side. Comes to Exelos, who tries a shot early in the piece. So intention shown so quickly, and this looks to be a foul already. Nicholas Nelson, the man, with much protestation, but referee Nation says this is a free kick right on the edge of the box. We haven't gone 30 seconds yet. And Nicholas Nelson with he hacked down the man, Angelo Exelos. And free kick here early in the piece. Nicholas Nelson seemed to be the favorite here. Not seeing any other contenders. So Mount Pleasant with a chance here in the first minute of play. 5 men in the wall as referee Nation just gives instructions now. Nelson the man now comes over this with the shot, but the wall does its job there, and that will result in a corner kick. So player down again. So already 2 players down, but the medical team asked to leave the field. Nothing doing there as we prepare for this corner kick. So Mount Pleasant, 81 points. Moby and that's a shot over the bar there. Wanted to give you the point standing, but Anglin wanted me to call for a goal and just shaving the crossbar there. So Mount Pleasant really showing some intent here. Already with 2 shots, none on target really, but attacking intent being shown. As we were saying, 81 points is as far as Montego Bay can reach, who is in second place at the moment. Arnett Gardens, they are third place. So if Mount Pleasant should get a win here today, that would confirm first place, as Nicholas Nelson now goes up the right hand side, plays this one inside, dealt with there for the minute by Arnett, but Franco Celestino takes over and will come inside to Thomas. Thomas looks across but opts to go the other way. Still Thomas. Now he comes back to Irving, who will come back to Ming, captain on the night. No McCullough in the squad today, as Thomas now comes to collect. Does so now and will play it across to Bailey, playing in the left fullback position. Goes all the way over to Ming, who is partnering with Dyer, who is now on the ball. So Dyer, pretty much a staple in the back line, was rested for the last couple of games, but makes it return into the starting lineup here. And really the strong man in the back there has the pace, good aggression, experience as Celestino comes. Edwards is the man now, comes inside in a hot vein of form. Edwards has played there, just goes down to the ground, and Celestino wants to shoot, but that one again over the top, as we see. Mount Pleasant Arnett have not advanced beyond their own half as yet, and we are gone all of 5 minutes in the game. It's been all Mount Pleasant. No goals yet though. So Mount Pleasant, they're in blue and white. You are watching Mount Pleasant FA TV. We are back at the Anthony Spalding Sport Complex. Remember last week, playing the Chapelton Maroons, won by 2 goals to nil, as Irving pushes up the right hand side, plays this one across and headed inside. And that looks to be the first goal, but I think the referee is waving it off. Is he saying it's a handled ball? And just want to see what took place there. The ball went up, the cross came in, Edwards went up with the head, but looks to have used the right hand based on what the players are saying there. And is it a goal? Yes, the goal is awarded. So Edwards makes it 4 from 4 to give Mount Pleasant a 1-0 lead here at Arnett Gardens. They were protesting, but we saw it on the replay. The hand did go up, but no contact with the ball. And just like that, before Arnett could even come into the Mount Pleasant half, Edwards makes it 1-0. We have it the 9th minute of play, and really being in business here as Celestine goes up the field. So all kinds of stuff here. Of course, if you take the time added out of that for the stoppages, officially that would be the 6th-minute goal here by Edwards. Rose highest and just glanced at the front post. His right hand seemed to go up. The referee initially seemed to be calling it back, as Chambers will collect this. So just silencing the home crowd here early, as Thomas now can't get past Bailey now will play this one upfield for Nelson to chase. Nelson being hounded by all of 2 Arnett Gardens defenders and cleared now, but only as far as Nelson, who is coming forward now, pushes this one inside, trying to find Fabian Reed. No Werner Brown in the starting team here, as Harburn now twists and turns, comes inside back to Nelson. Nelson will spray this one outside for Thomas to cross inside, and a block there by Ming. Reed took it on the volley, but Ming was in a good position, and the ball just slammed off his body back into play. So a half chance there for Arnett Gardens, as this one now is played down for the run off wing, but can't make contact. Shea Smith now pushes past Anglin, comes inside, cleared by Dyer. Last touch off Thompson there for Arnett Gardens, and frenetic start here, and it's paid off for Mount Pleasant because they have pushed the envelope, and Kemar Edwards has made it 4 from 4 to continue his rich vein of form, as Ferguson there just giving some instructions, trusted assistant of Tapper Whitmore, and both of them have managed to give Mount Pleasant their first Premier League title, to being 2 consecutive finals and heading for first place for the 2nd consecutive time. So making things happen here in St. Anne. Remember now, this is Mount Pleasant FA TV. You are watching on YouTube. Remember to like, to subscribe, to share the content, as ball inside now. Booted upfield, trying to get Edwards again. And really went about 6-7 games without a goal, and has really hit the ground running 4 games in a row, and he's been on the score sheet as Watson now plays this one upfield, trying to get to Reed, but Irving will take over. To the pass from Ming, comes back to Irving, comes inside. Nelson had given him the return pass, but it's cut out now by Nicholas Nelson, his brother. Yes, Nicholas Nelson, older brother of Jeremy Nelson, who is, well, Jeremy Nelson actually is the Arnett man, and Nicholas Nelson the Mount Pleasant man, and Jeremy Nelson, number 21 for Arnett Gardens, the older brother of Nicholas Nelson, who plays in number 19 for Mount Pleasant. So here is Jeremy Nelson on the ball now, plays this one inside, but Reed being hounded all the time by Ming. Captains there going at it, and the referee now awards the free kick. So it's a battle of the captains there, as Bailey heads this one out to give Arnett Gardens a throw. So Arnett Gardens, one of the most hostile environments in terms of not necessarily violent, especially not now, but hard to play as an away team. So you want to get the crowd out of it early. Not a bumper crowd as we are used to inside Arnett Gardens. Of course, it's a midweek fixture, but nonetheless, we expect some fireworks here, and we already have a goal, which makes it all the more interesting, because Arnett Gardens will have to chase the game, and they're trying to get to the second place for the automatic spot in the semi-finals. So lots at stake here, as the ball now all the way back to Watson. Watson will spread it to the right hand side, cleared out by Mount Pleasant, comes as far as to Anglin who comes to Thomas, but infringement there on the play. Referee Nation says free kick, and Nelson, Jeremy Nelson that is, leaves it for Thomas. Ricardo Thomas, formerly of Dundee Holden, formerly of Waterhouse, brought in the January transfer window to bolster the team for Arnett Gardens. Came in as cover for wing, and wing is back now, so he's now occupying the right full-back position as he plays this one over the left foot, comes to the back post, but headed out by Mount Pleasant, comes as far now as to Exilus Angelo. I haven't seen much of him since being fouled on the very first play of the game, as this one should be okay for Chambers. Collects and bowls it out quickly, trying to get Celestine going, but cut out there by Philando Wing. But Irvin is there, back to Chambers, who will now boot this one long upfield for a throw just inside the, well, I'm sure they brought it back a little bit too far, but the referee just stops the play here to give some attention to a player who is down. Gadil Irving, the man over on the far side there, touching to his face as the action continues here. So just about 15 minutes. Goalkeeper also down, Chambers. So 2 Mount Pleasant players as we get ready to restart the action here. Throw inside, comes as far as to Thomas. Arborn plays it across, but challenge all the time there. Man, looks to be some. And now the ball chipped across by Thomas. Good cross there. The referee, the goalkeeper now will claim and just goes to ground. So Wizard just playing it off to Thomas there. Thomas with a one-time cross. Good cross in the end, but dealt with by the Mount Pleasant defense, who bring a clean sheet from the last game. And if they can get a clean sheet here, it means that 3 points and first place would be secured. Even with 3 games left, Exilus was presenting a threat to Wall there, but all's well that ends well for Arnett Gardens, as Reed all the way back in his own half comes inside, back to Reed now over on the far side, cuts it, plays it back to Wing. Can't get by the man there, so ball played now inside to Jones. Jones will come forward, tries to get Thomas going. Thomas now to Arborn. Thomas wanted the call, but referee taking the advantage, but eventually giving the call. So they asked and you shall receive. Thomas asked and he did receive the call there from referee Nation, as he himself will take the kick here as the coaching staff issue instructions. Here's the ball now played across, comes as far as the back post, but headed out there by Irving, not taking any chances, not seen behind him. So Arnett Gardens will get a corner kick here, their first corner of the game, as we get a shot of the coach Theodore Whitmore. Here is Thomas to take. In-swinger comes to the front post, comes back to Thompson, but the crowd of Mount Pleasant players there, blue wall, just blocking everything, and good organization there, very compact, and Thompson did get the shot off, but a wall of blue preventing any danger there, or averting any danger. Jones now again will come to Arborn. Arborn now plays it forward for the run of Wizard. Wizard now chips it across. Reed with a chance, but a good block there again. And my. Not the man you want that chance to fall to. But the defenders were, although not clearing, in the right position. And he couldn't get it through Fabian Reed. But Arnett knocking on the door here. Just a melee there. And that will keep the crowd interested, knowing that they have opportunities as wing. Tussles with Celestine, concedes a throw. He will leave it for Irvin. Celestine. So Franco in the lineup again today. As Nelson controls, passes back to Irvin, who just tries to flick it over the head of Shea Smith. It didn't work. And wing will take the throw in for Arnett Gardens. Thompson back to wing. And referee spots an infringement, gives a free kick to Arnett. Edwards the culprit there. And he plays this one across to Jones. Jones under some pressure from Edwards, but does well to recover. Mount Pleasant players pressing high, but Thomas escapes the press and comes inside the Mount Pleasant half now, being hounded all the time by Exodus, but still with possession. Now he goes to the turf. Wanted to get that free kick all along. Exodus looks to be going into the referee's book. Been nibbling, not aggressive with the challenges, but he's been there and been nibbling all along. And the referee says that's enough. We have to introduce her to the yellow card as Thomas is sent to the right hand side. Wing is there with Nicholas Nelson, and Nelson now passes to Wing, who will line up the shot. Blocked there by Mount Pleasant. Comes as far as to Thomas, wants to cross, plays it inside. Reed controls, leaves it for Thompson, but wayward shot there. Saw the intention, but execution not matching, as that one is played all the way back to Wall. Edwards will come forward to try to apply some pressure. Comes inside to Watson. Now Nelson, and Arnett Gardens being forced back all the time. Player still on the turf there. Referee still not looking in his direction, as this one is with Arban. Now Arban wants to take on Bailey. Still Arban cuts inside, but Bailey still there with him and does well to dispossess him. Now he boots it upfield, but only in the midriff of Thomas, and not the best place to get hit. And the referee now, he holds his chest, but somehow it seemed to have been in the midriff where he was hit, as the medical staff now just ask him to lay on his back. So we break for an injury here. So resume the action here, as Nation just getting some introductions or some information from first assistant referee. And we start now with Arnett Gardens receiving the drop ball. Here is Nicholas Nelson. Plays this one, going for the back post, looking for Shai Smith. Smith controls now, plays it one time, but cleared out by Mount Pleasant. Arnett Gardens through Watson there, just ahead, but Celestine does well to get by one, but Wing recovers. It comes now to Irvin, who Thomas calls for it and controls inside. Still Thomas. Now he comes over on this far side to find Angelo Exlos. Exlos though loses out to Thomas, who slips it inside and gets a return pass from Wizard going down the line, but Dyer came, and now the challenge from Clifford Thomas, and he's begging to the referee, saying no, didn't do him anything, but the card is already on the way, just waiting for him to see it on the turn, and now he receives the card. So Thomas, the man, was taking out his counterpart, Ricardo Thomas. So Clifford Thomas, the man, Asian there, and I'm not sure if he's speaking in French or English, but I'm sure referee Nation just telling him to calm down as free kick now to be taken by Thomas. Seems to be the man taking all the free kicks. This one comes off the wall, comes as far, and Bailey now will come forward, plays it across for Angelo Exelos. Exelos cuts inside, wants to find a pass, and he comes back to Bailey. Bailey now chips across, gets by Thomas, but Thomas still hounding him all the time, and now free kick will go in Mount Pleasant's favor. Chevaughn Bailey there just winning the free kick off Ricardo Thomas. He has won about 3 free kicks for Arnett Gardens thus far, as Bailey now plays it inside. It's Thomas who gives and goes. Here's this one now chip forward, trying to spot the run of Edwards, but Arburn will take over here, moves it forward inside the Mount Pleasant half, plays this one, and no problems there. Chambers was watching it all the way, so no challenge there for him really. So in terms of the attacking threat, not much from Mount Pleasant since the goal. Arnett Gardens definitely have come into their own. And you're looking at playoff teams here. Arnett Gardens in 3rd place, guaranteed to be in the playoffs, but want to get the 2nd automatic spot, which would mean they avoid the quarterfinals. Mount Pleasant already in the semifinals, but would confirm top spot if they can get the 3 points here tonight as they advance through Dyer. Plays it to Ming. Ming comes across, gets it to Irving, who wants to play it inside, and actually Irving now on the ball, plays it inside, comes back here to Bailey, who is all the way over on the right hand side. Thought it was Irving there at the first glance. Here is now Ming, back to Chambers, who is under some pressure but stays calm and gets it clear. Thomas will control, pokes it over on the right hand side to Arburn, who keeps it in place. Still Arburn, now he's being hounded by 2 players. Dyer is there, Exelos is there, and the throw-in will go the way of Mount Pleasant. So good intensity shown defensively by the Mount Pleasant team here, not really giving Arnett any time to play, even inside the box. Though they have had looks, Mount Pleasant has been quick to shut down the opponents and the ball, as Nelson now being pulled all the while. Not by his brother. His brother came out of that. And here is Edwards now. We'll see for Celestine, but a bad pass forced Celestine to come back. Sure, he wanted to just play that in front of him, as this one now is with Anglin, who shapes left, shapes right, comes back to Thomas. Thomas will find Dyer, who comes to his left, gets Irving. So just a switch around as far as we are seeing here. Bailey seems to be over on the right hand side now, as Gadale Irving is on this left hand side. Here's Bailey now, plays this one across now. Edwards now with a good ball out to Franco Celestine. Celestine would want to take him on 1v1, but it comes inside. It's now with Anglin off the volley, but just dispossessed there by Nelson, headed inside by Thompson and cleared by Watson, but just can't get it out of their half now. Arnett Gardens, and throwing is the verdict as Chevaughn Bailey comes across. So he's been switched over to the right hand side to play as the right fullback, and Irving in his more natural left fullback position. This one now played inside, headed out, and Wall maybe thought it came off an Arnett player. Thus he took evasive action to get the ball out there. So we make it just about 23 minutes gone in the piece, and 1-0 the scoreline here. Mount Pleasant, courtesy of a 6-minute strike by Raheem Edwards to just break the deadlock early in the game. Just a reward for some sustained pressure early in the piece, which led to that goal. And Mount Pleasant wants to get to cement first place here. Just want to tie up things, as ball played back to Chambers. comes across to Kyle Ming. Ming back to Chambers. So no Arnett Gardens players coming until now. Here it comes with Ming. So Chambers just waited for the player to release the space really. So it opened up the pass for Ming. And had the player not come, then Chambers would have more time to do what he was doing. So foul as we have passed the half-hour mark here in this fixture, and Mount Pleasant still lead here in the home of Arnett Gardens by a goal to nil. Goal in the 6th minute, making it 4 from 4 for Raheem Edwards. So coaches persist with him, it's paid off. And that one had to force a save from Chambers off the head of Shai Smith. Thought the Mount Pleasant defenders would have taken care of that, but Chambers had to come up with a smart save. Otherwise it would have been 1-1. Good header there by the former Portmore man. Good header there. And Chambers had to give all he had, but it was good enough. Here's the corner kick now. Thomas again plays this one across, to play this one across. Here it comes. Chambers came, was in no man's land, headed out for another corner here. Nelson couldn't take any chances. So Arnett Gardens piling up the corner kicks. They leave it. And Thomas now will make his way over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Arnett players in the box. As free kick now taken. Corner kick comes inside, headed out by Bailey. Comes back to Thomas, who took it in the first place, chipped it inside again. Heads go up, still tossing inside the box, appeals for handball, but that wouldn't be given based on the position, the natural position of the hand. And Nicholson now will boot this one long upfield for the run of Edwards. Can Edwards get by Watson? No, he plays it out and will allow his team to regroup. So good defending there by Watson, just to stand his ground until he eventually got a piece of the ball, managed to clear it and allow his team to regroup as the ball now comes inside, but headed out by Ming, who has almost seemed like another shirt on the back of Fabian Reed here this evening, as Thompson now will roll this one across for Harborne, who's also switched over on the side to Bailey. So just some tactical chess here being played, as this one now is with Edwards now, who pushes past one defender. Jones went over there, but now it comes across, but cut out luckily by Jones, because Angelo was all by himself waiting to receive that pass. Jones missed, could have been trouble. Angelo, of course, scoring his first goal in the Premier League in that very goal last week versus Chapelton, as Nicholas Nelson lines up the shot, but tame in the end, catching practice for Wall, and didn't trouble him there. Comes to his big brother Jeremy Nelson, who now goes vertical to Wizard, who can't control, and Clifford now will take over. Pushed off the ball now, but recovery there from Mount Pleasant, and Dyer will go to Chambers, who controls, not afraid to control the ball under pressure. And here is Jones. Can't find Wizard again. Chambers just ushers this one out. So as we get closer and closer to half time, 1-0 the score here in favor of the visitors, Mount Pleasant. Second trip to Kingston, won the last game 2-0 against the Chapelton Maroons. Well on the way to get a similar result over a much more fancied opponent and the home team here inside the jungle. So here is Ming Plays this one forward. Edwards will come, but cleared by Arnett Gardens as far as to Thompson. Nelson can't release. Man there as it comes back now to Exilus, who is rubbing the touchline here. Still Exilus. Turns inside. Exilus now plays it for the run of Gadil Irving. Can he get across inside? Chips it across. Misses there, but doesn't miss the second player. Comes now to Edwards. And now Arnett Gardens will take over. Ball over on the far side with Arburn. Can't get past Bailey. Arburn has to come inside. Finds. Looks to the Wizard here. Wizard trying to weave some magic, as the name suggests, but comes now to Thomas over on the right hand side. Thomas will want to cross, but now he plays it right at the corner. Flag for Shai Smith, who has also been switched over on this side because Arburn has gone to the opposite side. Comes now to Nelson, who plays it for the back post, but Bailey's there and alert. Long ball just wayward there. Peels off the boot of the man Wizard, who trying something speculative there, but not working out in the end for Arnett Gardens. Irving now to take this throw. Plays it forward. Headed out there. Comes as far as to Angelo Exilo, who just bounces it off Reed. Ball now inside to Anglin. Back to Irving. Irving chips it forward. Asking Edwards to chase. Edwards chased, but defenders took over there as Nelson did well to just pluck it out of there. Can he find Celestine? Yes. Celestine now with one to beat. Cuts inside, finds Kivoni Bailey, but he can't pull it back there. Just got away from him and couldn't effect the pullback as Shai Smith from the floor tries to play, but couldn't get it past Thomas. Here comes Irving now. Cuts back. Will come to Clifford Thomas, who should find back Irving. Irving now goes all the way back to Ming. Ming looks across and finds Bailey, who comes back inside. Anglin rather coming all the way over on the right hand side and now plays it inside to Chambers, to Dyer. Dyer back to Chambers. So just allowing the players to free up the space as Ming now, and just finding the free player there. Really a game of numbers. You want to get the numerical advantage in the zone where the ball is, and as the goalkeeper is introduced, the players will come effectively release a space. So there is a free player. It's the awareness to find him. As Shai Smith now, as Irving tumbles to the ground, trips this one across to Reed, who's been hounded again all the time by Kyle Ming. As we said before, just another shirt in his back as Celestino just dispossessed there. Good toe poke by Philander Wing, who finds himself over on the right hand side. So Wing now trying to go forward. Celestine came back and Irving there. Tough challenge, but Wing still manages to keep possession. Plays it inside. Good ball that to Nelson. Comes back to Wing. Wing now cuts and turns inside. And the player there wanted to turn. He mimicked, trying to win the penalty. Referee said, I'm right here. That won't happen. As this one now is played across with Nicholas Nelson. Nelson now 1v1, but can't get the ball past him. Nelson though recovers, and now Arnett can clear their lines. And ball now across to Shai Smith. So end-to-end stuff at the minute. Shai Smith now cuts across, trying to get by Thomas. Thomas still in and around there, making himself unusual. Shai Smith will go for goal, but again, just one of those balls that Chambers would get from goalkeeper coach Sewell in the evenings. No problems there as he falls to the turf in anticipation of the halftime whistle. So getting close to halftime, and Mount Pleasant hanging on thus far to a 1-0 lead. I've not been defensive by any means in terms of playing defensively, but I've been stout in defense, and it got a few sniffs, but they have been there and thereabouts, the Mount Pleasant team. Here is Ming now, plays this one forward, headed out by Jones. Irving plays it back upfield. Comes down to Excellus Angelo. Plays it to Irving. So there it is. 7 minutes to be added. We had quite a few stoppages in the first half. So we are gone to the stoppage time here as Dyer asks Ming to just come back to receive that ball. Ming will go inside to Chambers. Chambers to Dyer. Dyer plays it forward to Irving, who goes back to Dyer. Excellus over on the side, but now he can receive, can get there, but no. And so not the best of games for Excellus in this one, as ball played early inside, and it's with Nelson, who will come to Jones. Watson rather comes across to wing. Here is Harborn now. So assignments given clearly by the Mount Pleasant coaching staff. You see Kyle Ming with Reed, you see Harborn, Kevon Bailey with Harborn. So clear assignments here as Celestine now can't get the advantage. So referee just halts the proceedings here. So Edwards thought he was fouled. Referee saw nothing amiss. And inside stoppage time here. Already played 4 minutes as Jones, Nelson, Jeremy Nelson, Irving, Nelson, still Nelson comes to Watson, outside to wing, inside to Nelson. Nelson now can go to Harborn. Harborn now looks to take the man on. 1v1 still. Comes inside, but cut out by Mount Pleasant. But back turn there. Bailey, can he get the clearance? Still being holded all the time by the Arnett Gardens player. And now booted as far as to Nicholas Nelson. And he will come up with the ball here for the free kick. Chambers. So we are in after first half stoppage time here. Mount Pleasant lead by a goal to nil. Raheem Edwards all the way in the 6 minutes, seems like ages ago, but that was his fourth goal in 4 matches as he boots his one now long upfield, as both teams probably looking towards the halftime break just to get attack, from the coaches. No team wants to concede at this time, and the referee, the coaches will tell you these are some very critical moments in games. First 10 minutes of the first half, the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes, same for the second half. You want to be the team who scores, but really dangerous to concede at these critical intervals. Mount Pleasant has done well to score in the first 6 minutes, so they scored in the first dangerous moments. Now they are in the dangerous moments of the first half, and how they would want to get a second goal going into the dressing room. Here is Anglin now. Twists and turns inside, gets by 2 players, still Anglin on the ball with a fire rocket to give them that 2-goal advantage going into the break like a bullet from a gun. Haven't seen any of those lately, but we know he has it in the arsenal. He shimmied past 4 players as we see it in the replay here. Here is he receiving the ball. Nelson comes. 3 sandwich players, shimmies past Jones, leaves him for dead, pushing it past, and now they rock it into the back of the net. And Wall won't be saving that even tomorrow. And what a goal to put Mount Pleasant up by 2-0. And certainly when the ball is moved from the halfway line, it should be half time. 45 plus 6. Goal scored there. And what a goal, Mount Pleasant fans. What a goal there by Jashaun Anglin. Really did well with the step overs. And Arnett not doing themselves any favors there. So you'll almost think it was a Arnett home game, but it's really the Mount Pleasant fans who are making a ruckus here inside the Anthony Spaulding Sports Complex. They have taken the complex for themselves, and that was a goal and a half. Could have gotten 2 for that if it was allowed, as Dyer now wants to go to Chambers, which he does. Chambers controls. Now he pushes it inside, back across to Irving. Irving now just looks inside and gets it to Nelson, who comes back to Irving. Irving back to Nelson, goes back now. So good management here, as they're just asking them to relax, to just calm down, to just manage things, as Ming comes back to Chambers, cuts it inside, comes across to Dyer. Dyer back to Chambers, cheeky pass there, but enough on it for Chambers, and man there just got a piece of him, which will take a few more seconds off the clock. And coaching staff not so pleased with that pass from Dyer. And should have the halftime whistle now with this, once this ball is played. And there it is, even without it being played. We expected that. So at halftime, it's Arnett Gardens 0, Mount Pleasant 2. Raheem Edwards in the 6th minute. And Jashaun Anglin, 45 plus 6, with a rocket of a shot, flew past wall to give the men from St. Anne a 2-0 advantage as we prepare for the second half. So no changes here in the second half, as Arnett Gardens will get us underway. Referee Nation seems to be ready. So the lineups again: in goal, Wall for Arnett Gardens, K. Arburn, J. Jones, Nelson, Reed, Smith, Thomas, Thompson, Watson, Wing, Wizard. For Mount Pleasant, it's Chambers, Angelo, Anglin, Bailey, Celestine, Dyer, Edwards, Irving, Nelson, Ming, and Thomas. 2-0. Mount Pleasant lead here at Arnett Gardens. 6 minutes and 40 in the 6 minutes of first half stoppage time. So 6 minutes into the game and 6 minutes into first half stoppage time. And Chevaughn Walsh, the man who came over from Portmore, has not tasted in action thus far. He's on the bench today. So players getting ready really at the last part of the season, ready for the playoffs. As Celestine slides this one across, the ball for the shot, but charged down there. Edwards, the man, wanted to replicate the early goal in the first half. Celestine really did well, got it across, but Arnett Gardens did well that time to defend. Man, Wizard just stuck out the boot there, ricocheted and went for a corner kick, which Anglin is going across to take. Anglin, of course, scoring what can be a candidate for one of the best goals of the season, as he now chips this one inside And comes off Arnett players. Really beat the man at the first post as Celestine now will turn. Still Celestine on the ball, chips inside. Bailey now wants to give him the return pass, but not successful. Irving now on the ball. Reed is run out of it as it comes now across to Edwards with his back turn. Still Edwards plays it across. Nice ball to Celestine who lies on it but gets up. Comes back to Chevaughn Bailey who goes across to Anglin. Chips it now across to Celestine who wants to turn. He does well to elude wing there now. Can he get across inside? Ball comes inside. Just wide off the upright. The shortest man on the field. Exilus Rose headed after Celestine with a bag of tricks. Left wing without his wings. Went down the right hand side. Played it across. But Exilus headed just wide off the upright there. And exciting stuff from the men in blue as foul there. Yes, Bailey just with a knee to the back of the legs of Shai Smith. And taken quickly here by Arnett Gardens. Wants to get something at home. They need to get these points to make a push for the second place, which is now being occupied by Montego Bay United. Mount Pleasant with this win would cement first place already into the semi-finals. Can't be passed by both Arnett and Mobay, and if they win here today, they can't be passed in first place either by any of those teams. So that would be a remarkable achievement, having played 2 games less than most of their opponents. This is one of the games in hand. Still have another versus Cavalier next Thursday at Sabina Park. Between that, they play Montego Bay United on Sunday in the North Coast Derby. That's the Easter Sunday edition of the North Coast Derby. So match is coming quick and fast. 2 games a week here for the Mount Pleasant team in order to get back on track with the fixtures, as players were out on national duty. All of 5 players, and as such some games were missed, as it Irving throws this one inside on the chest of Edwards. Back to Irving. Inside to Thomas. Turns and goes to Dyer. Anglin to Thomas. Thomas now comes over the top, finds Celestine, who just flicks this one over the head of wing. Really been tormenting wing over on his right hand side. Tries to chip it for the run of Bailey, but good defensive work there, doubling up Shai Smith, just helping out as the ball now is played long upfield, trying to find Reed. And he won't win most of those aerial battles, as Thomas now just cleans up and restarts, resets everything. And Dyer will come forward over on the left hand side. Chipped inside. Nelson now on the ball, but hounded there by Jones, who did well. Ball comes inside, trying to get Fabian Reed. Cleared again by Kyle Ming, and infringement now called on the man Irving, and Nation just asking them to take it easy, as free kick now, which Thomas lines up to take. So just about 9 minutes gone here in the second half, and Mount Pleasant, as you see, saw a shot there of the lights on the hill just at the top of your screen. Won't see the match from there, as Thomas now plays it flat cross inside. Almost got to Shai Smith, but cleared in the end by Mount Pleasant. Here is Celestine again, but runs out of real estate this time, as Arnett are lining up a change. Looks to be Jaime Thomas to come in here. Shai Smith now going up the left hand side. Shai Smith now Ming intervenes, and corner kick the verdict. So Arnett, of course, wants to push the envelope here. Wants to get some. Chevaughn Willis also there, getting ready as so
you're blocking the Cavalier boss and they want to leave.
Corner kick now to be taken as the ball comes across from Thomas, headed out and move further forward now by Nelson. Still Nelson goes. Can he keep it in play? Yes. Nelson now looks for a pass but cuts back. Maybe not having the right angle for the pass, and Anglin will come all the way back to Thomas, who eventually gets it to Dyer. Comes across to Ming. Ming now will turn and boots it long upfield for the run of Edwards, but headed to Wall, and Edwards caught him. Edwards caught him going, and the referee will give him a card there. Really should have tried to avoid the goalkeeper in a situation like that. So yellow card, Edwards, and Wall falls to the turf here. Really couldn't have stopped based on the momentum, and player just asking, Watson just asking why. So here is Wall now. Jaime Thomas, of course, on as Arburn now will turn inside. So Thompson will run, who is out, replaced by Thomas, as Jones now will play this one upfield. Comes as far as to Nelson, who goes to Wizard. Wizard over on the right hand side to Smith. Smith comes inside, chips it across. Here is Edwards, plays this one across now. Can he get the cross in? Wizard, ball comes, but team headed now by Dyer, and Ming will help. Irving rather will help it on the way. Comes as far as to Watson. Comes to number 12, who is Bailey, but Ming will clean up over on the far side, but just pushed over there. And free kick. Deep inside the Mount Pleasant half, as the announcer just confirmed the substitution. Jaime Thomas in and R. Thompson out. Still 2-0 the score here in favor of Mount Pleasant. All the goals thus far came in the first half, as Mount Pleasant line up some changes of their own. So Devante Campbell will come on for Franco Celestine, and looks to be Nicholas Nelson off for Joey Johnson. So the Haitian there coming in. So straight swap with Campbell going wide. Nelson coming out, that means one striker with the number 10 now, Joey Johnson, as Devante Campbell now tries to get his first taste of the action. One more speedster here, but put over on the left hand side, so which means that Excelus is over on this right hand side. Here comes Devante Campbell now, gets past two players. Can he get across inside? Chips it across, but Excelus out muscle there. They're appealing for the penalty kick, but nothing, says referee Nation. And just his first touch there, already getting by two defenders, the man Devante Campbell. So 57 minutes here gone, and just saw those two substitutions. So Devante Campbell gone to the left hand side winger. Joey Johnson coming in as an attacking midfielder, so he will play behind Edwards as the lone striker now. So moving from two strikers to one striker here. Ming not happy with the call there, but referee uninterested as Nelson now looks, passes inside. Thomas comes back to Nelson. Nelson plays it as far as to Jones, who looks across to Thomas. Thomas will boot this one long upfield for the run of Wizard, but Wizard can't get there. Tussling there on the line, and Mount Pleasant will come out with that one. Here is Campbell. Still Campbell. Now he's dispossessed. Ball now with Arnett Gardens inside to Thomas. But Drew Johnson will take over now. Comes back to Clifford. But mix up there too close. Anglin and Drew Johnson. And players just tumbling over the ball here as Drew Johnson now is called back. And free kick seems to be in favor of Arnett Gardens. It's a drop ball because the ball made contact with the referee. Pushed to the ground, Excelus by the man wing. And referee just asking everybody to stay calm as we approach 1 hour here in the piece. So Excelus just pushed over by wing. Tired of the twists and turns. And just ask him to sit down for a bit, as the first seems to be about to drop the ball again, and asks Arnett to just give back the ball to Mount Pleasant, which they do. And we'll take the one time here, leading by 2-0 Mount Pleasant. Chevaughn Bailey takes the throw in now. And Arnett now with a throw of their own. So 61 minutes gone in the piece. Arnett Gardens 0, Mount Pleasant 2. Raheem Edwards, minute number 6. And Jashaun Anglin, the 6th minute of first half stoppage time. Here is Bailey now. Plays this one. And they can't keep it in play, Arnett. So Mount Pleasant make an advance upfield. And all under control now for Mount Pleasant. Did win the last game here by this similar score line, 2-0. Left it later than this, so Devontae Campbell now wants to get some clearance for a shot, but being hounded by all of 2 Arnett defenders, who eventually get the ball out and going forward now to Shea Smith, but cut out there, and the momentum took him into the defender, who did well, Irving, to just deny him the opportunity. So not easy to counter with the Mount Pleasant team because they are leaving adequate cover, as Excelus now wanted to just slide it to Edwards. Drew Johnson now does well to recover under pressure from 2 players. Comes across to Irving, does Anglin. Now Thomas inside to Bailey. Irving turns, plays this one inside now. Good ball that to Bailey with a pocket of space. Slides it inside now for Devontae Campbell. Inside the box, right across, but Wall did well. Too close to the goalkeeper there. That one should have been cut back to the penalty spot. Showed that too much of it to Wall, but good little passes have played there. Bailey finding himself with some space in the midfield. Went wide, which was the right option. And the wing goes wide, which is the wrong option for Arnett Gardens. It's a throw into Mount Pleasant. Here is Bailey now. Plays this one inside. Jones will go back to Wall. Wall can't take it up, so does what he thinks best in the situation. Thomas will have to clear his lines because under pressure all the time by Devontae Campbell. So good passes have played there. Really should have cut back to the penalty spot where Johnson was waiting. Probably would have registered his first goal here for the club, but only in his second game. Started the first game versus Chapelton. Came on as a 56-minute substitute here as it's inside now with Anglin, who is on the score sheet today. Back to Dyer. Ming thought he would go to Chambers, but came to Ming. Dyer now goes to Chambers. Ming provides an option, which Chambers doesn't take this time. Watson heads it wide, comes out far to Campbell. Campbell now does well. Here is Raheem Edwards now coming forward, looking for the pass. Could see Dewey Johnson, but not seeing him there. Defender is there. Bailey now wants to line up the shot, but over the top there. He has some spectacular ones in him as well, and generally tends to score those, but no goals yet as we see Daniel Green now. So not making it any easier for Arnett Gardens really, as Green, number 4, comes in as well. Wizard and Arbron are out. Number 4, we'll give you the name shortly, and number 30 are in for Arnett Gardens. So Chevaughn Willis comes in, and Saman, the youngster from Excelsior, also comes in as Wizard and Arbron came out. Excelsior now making his exit, and Daniel Green will replace him for Mount Pleasant. So like for like, Daniel Green, versatile player, can play anywhere in the attacking 4 position. As this one is just over the top there by Smith, too much under it. So Green apparently being utilized here on the right hand side.
Replacing player number 27, Shadiko Wizard. Also saw player number 30, Chevaughn Salmon, replacing player number 12, Kamani Arbor. Substitution, 64th minute. Also in the 64th minute, player number 29, Angelo Excelus of Mount Pleasant, was replaced by player number 9, Daniel Green.
So just confirmation of the substitutions there by the game announcer here at Arnett Gardens. And those substitutions in the 64th minute, shot of Green there, last man to enter the pitch here. So 2-0. Mount Pleasant lead.
5317 km.
Heading into the final 20 minutes here of the contest, as Green now with his first taste of the action comes to Thomas, who goes all the way back to Chambers. Chambers controls, looks wide and chips it over the top, trying to get Edwards, who is fouled. Oh, offside there. Came from an offside position to receive, as Dewey Johnson now controls and turns. Seal Johnson now plays this one inside. Good ball to Daniel Green. Can he get by the defender? Wing did well to just get his body in between there. Good incisive ball by Johnson. Green wanted to just get between Wing and the ball, but Wing stood his ground. Eventually conceded the corner. Much better than to take it out of the back of the net. So gives his team some time to regroup here, as Mount Pleasant being urged by referee nation to just continue. Chevaughn Walsh there, we spoke to you earlier, seeing him with the substitutes. Wonder if he'll get a taste of the action today. That one was wasted by Mount Pleasant. The corner kick, Irving came up and over and out of play as well. Now boots this one across field, headed by Bailey. Even amidst the pressure, Irving now heads it forward for Edwards, but Wing should take care of that one, which he does. Comes inside to Nelson, comes back to Jaime Thomas now inside, but dispossessed here. Comes as far again to Drew Johnson. Johnson now looking for a pass, gets it to Green. Green wanted Edwards. Edwards was going, wanted him to come forward, as Nelson now controls, looks forward, still under some pressure here and dispossessed. And Anglin will take over. Crowd not liking performance of Nelson here. Thomas now under some pressure from Devontae Campbell and will win the foul. Experience shown there, just getting his body in between, pushed off the ball there, and crowd on the back of Nelson here, especially when he loses the ball here. This one now booted long upfield for Arnett Gardens, headed down by Nelson inside to Thomas now, who plays this one across trying to find Salmon, but Salmon can't get there before Chevaughn Bailey, and Wall will ask for it. Comes to Watson. Arnett Gardens wants to push here. We're on 70 minutes as wing inside to Salmon. Salmon back to wing. Wing to Salmon. Salmon now puts it through the wet feet of Ming, but Ming will shield it out for a goal kick. With 20 minutes left here. So 20 minutes for Arnett to find something out of this game. 20 minutes for Whitmore and company to consolidate and confirm first place here, as this one now played by Chambers, Green, Bailey, Anglin, Thomas, Dewey Johnson. Campbell just chipped it forward, but didn't work out there. Here's Anglin now. And Dewey Johnson turns, comes to Campbell, comes inside Thomas, cross to Bailey, just comes inside between two players, did well there. Bailey looks across now, control there, chips it over, back to Bailey. Bailey wants to cut inside, saw what he was doing, but watched all the time by Jones, who did well. Otherwise it would have been in the face of Wall. His eyes would be meeting the eyes of Bailey. This one now out of play. And referee asking for the ball here, as Thomas will take. So 72 minutes gone here. Mount Pleasant in blue still leading by 2-0. Remember to like, subscribe and share Mount Pleasant FA TV. This win will bring them to 84 points. Arnett Gardens in third place, already assured of a place in the playoffs, but wants to finish in the top two. And they've come in this game with 67 points. By the look of things, it will remain that way, but they are at home and stranger things have happened. They have all of 16 minutes plus stoppages to make an impact on this game as they come forward now to Reed. Reed comes inside, Chevaughn Willis plays it to Thomas, who comes wide and finds Wing. Wing now chips it across with the left foot, cleared by Mount Pleasant. Back inside to Chevaughn Willis, who goes right to Thomas, who wants to line up the shot, but blocked again. Charged down by Mount Pleasant, putting their bodies on the line here, and Green now will take over from someone who just pulls him to the turf, really. Didn't bother to run him down. Just pull him to the turf and say, where are you going? Player down inside the middle there. So Dewey Johnson, man going down there, but referee says, get up, let's go. as we approach 75 minutes here. Anglin, Bailey, inside now to Thomas, who will go over the top, finds Devante Campbell. Campbell now has Irving for company, but tried to go to Johnson. Probably the wrong decision, but they recover. Thomas now, Ming, Bailey, still Bailey, Dyer, Chambers, Ming, inside to Green. Thomas wanted to get Bailey going there, but no, he just gives the body, comes to Ming. Ming now inside. Anglin, Irving, still Irving. Now Dewey Johnson leaves it for Irving, back to Johnson. So Mount Pleasant just keeping possession here. Ming, Thomas, Bailey, back to Ming. Chambers, just knocking it around here. Good game management, taking the sting out of it. Dyer comes forward to Dewey Johnson, who plays in. What a ball there for the run of Anglin. Anglin now comes in front. He has a play at the back post, but a bad decision there. Went for glory. Green was at the back post and was the likely candidate. Should have received the ball there. And Anglin knows he could have and should have done better. And referee just asked him to go off the field. Scored already. Maybe thought that he could have replicated the goal from the first half, but this time really should have been opting for the pass. So don't normally fault an attacking player for going for a goal inside the box. More changes being lined up here by Arnett Gardens. So number 21, Jeremy Nelson, looks as if he'll be substituted now. And number 24, R. Andrews, is coming on. Fabian Reed as well looks to be coming off. And let's see who comes on for him. Looks to be Shantamai Taylor to come on for Captain Fabian Reed. So yes, confirmation there. So on the stroke of 80 minutes here, and
the double substitution for Arnett Gardens, so player number 21, Jeremy Nelson, and player number 13, Fabian Reed, being replaced by player number 26, Shantamar Taylor, and player number 24, Richard Andrews. Substitution 77th minute.
just about the time we have here, as we are now into the 79th minute, and Taylor now plays this one across for wing. Wing now with a new shirt. So with Reed gone, Ming just applied what you call close marking to fill on the wing. Too close for the comfort of referee nation, and he awarded the free kick, which Wing himself will take. So 79 minutes here in the piece, and Wing prepares to take this. Referee just sorting out some argy-bargy there. calling out player. Is it Dyer? And Dyer receives the yellow card for just the pushing and shoving inside the box here. And Jones, not intimidated, probably saying this is my home turf, calls away both players now. Still trying to say two tough centre halves for respective teams, and referee just doing the right thing, trying to assert some control over the piece here as Edwards lurking, eavesdropping, eventually gets into the discussion, trying to help the referee to calm down. Both players, Willis now will join, and we're ready for action now as the free kick to be taken finally by Wing. So here it is now. Wing chips it across, heads go up, and should be a corner. Yes, Mount Pleasant. Ming seemed to be the one who got the header there. So 9 minutes plus stoppages left in the piece. Mount Pleasant lead by 2-0, and Thomas comes across to make the in-swinging corner kick. They need something fast if they're going to get back in this game. Arnett Gardens. So Thomas now chips this one inside, headed out there, and so we're coming to the dying moments of this game. Arnett Gardens not really showing that purpose. Players will be tired as well because Mount Pleasant have been giving them a lot of work to do. And goal kick now, the verdict. Mount Pleasant have done well as well to bust the possession. 65-35, 60-40 now in terms of possession in favor of Mount Pleasant. So controlling the game from all areas, and this is what you'd call a workman-like performance. Haven't really given Arnett much. They had some sniffs in the first half, but Mount Pleasant was organized. So I don't think the coaching staff would be too disappointed with the display here in all sectors, really. And heading for 3 more points to take them up to 84 to cement first place. And all of 3 games left to play as Edwards edges inside to Drew Johnson. But that one just skewed off the right boot there. Really tried to just take it before the defense could react. 2 balls on the field now. And Wall comes inside to Willis, who has to go back to Jones. Wants to go long. Inside now, played across. Here is Arnett Gardens inside now with Thomas back to Willis. Willis plays it inside now, but cut out there. Cross now to Daniel Green, who can come inside. Arnett half, which he does. Comes across the player now and looks for the pass. Comes to Devontae Campbell. Can he cut in and get the shot? Gets the shot. Maybe thirsty. Closer to the I-Cool sign than the goal though. So that was his trademark cut in. But he saw the sign saying crisp, light, refreshing. Maybe opted for some water, as Bailey does well just to read the flight of the ball there and come and get that header. So really the reveal player of the season, Bailey, prolific goal scorer, was doing well. Goal coach asked him to play the left full back position and he has taken that up. Irvin was out, he came in, now he's playing the right full back position. Centre backs not in. Ming shifted inside and he has done exceptionally well as Irvin now cuts inside. He also has some spectaculars on him, so really a dangerous team, this Mount Pleasant team, from midfield, from defense, even in attack. Any man can score. And Ming with a couple of goals. Dyer is probably the one who really troubles the scorers and owns his job of stopping the opponent from, or preventing the opponent from scoring, as Mount Pleasant continue to maintain possession. Clifford Thomas, who has been as solid can be, plays very simple, just goes to the right areas. That's a foul. Not going to help Arnett Gardens at this time with just about 5 minutes plus stoppages left to go in the piece. Yes, Thomas really reads the play well, tactically aware, and just simple. Nothing extravagant or exuberant as he trots inside the box now. Probably trying to score his first goal for Mount Pleasant. Definitely not brought in for the goal scoring, but more the role we have seen him occupy as the windscreen there in front of the back four for Mount Pleasant, and as fitting like a glove as Green prepares to take this free kick for Mount Pleasant. Dying moments of the game now, and referee now gives him the go ahead. Green chips this one, comes to goal, and Wall had to find a save. It's in the back of the net. Will it count? Will it count? He's celebrating, but the referee is chalking it off, saying he was offside. I did see the flag, which is why I was asking if it would have counted. Green with a very good free kick came to the front post. Wall did well to save it. Don't have the replay here, but Wall did well to save it. It came to Edwards, who must have been in an half-time position before. Well, the Bible of football, which is the rule book, says that you can be offside by gaining an advantage by being in the offside position. So had he been in the offside position when that ball came from Wall, then he would have gained an advantage by being in the offside position. So you can interfere with the opponent. You can also gain an advantage by being in an offside position, as Edwards will not celebrate 5 goals in 4 matches. Here is Chambers now. Boots this one. So it's interfering with play, interfering with an opponent. That's the offside rule. Or gaining an advantage by being in an offside position. And the latter was apparently the one applied, which caused Mount Pleasant not to be leading by 3 goals to nil here. And we see the man Walsh about to make his debut here. He's been with the club since January and been through a rigorous recovery program with the physio and the doctors. And we welcome now Chevaughn Walsh for his first minutes in a Mount Pleasant shirt. And don't watch his size, friends. Dangerous and experienced strikers, played overseas in North America and scored for prolific for Portmore, and trimmed down a bit, but good to see him back in action. Had a long-term injury, been working, wing with the hands up there in the face of Bailey, and referee says no. So the body language of the Arnett team would suggest that they don't think they can get back here. Shea Smith rather just being talked to by the referee, and Mount Pleasant wants to get us going, but referee says let's go back. So we're on the stroke of 90 minutes waiting to see what will go up on the fourth officials board, and probably can safely say that Mount Pleasant will go to 84 points and confirm first place here. Not seeing much from Arnett to suggest otherwise, as now Devontae Campbell wants to make a last run but can't do so. Arnett Gardens will restart through Thomas. Boots it upfield as ball played out for a throw-in, which Thomas will come forward to take. Does so now, comes inside to Jaheim, the Jaheim version of Thomas. And Ricardo Thomas gone to the ground again. Devontae Campbell the culprit this time. And there it is, 6 minutes of stoppage time. So just as the first half, well, we actually had 7 for the first half. Anglin scored in the 6th. This time 6 minutes. So Edwards scored in the 6th minute of the match. Anglin scored in the 6th minute of first half stoppage time. And now we have 6 minutes for second half stoppage time. And hope that's not an omen as it's played inside. Headed out there, Drew Johnson just poked it away from the opponent. As we have already gone 1 minute in the 6th. Played, Chambers called. Anglin listened, and Chambers will come away with the ball, headed for another clean sheet. Has done well coming in for Shaquan Davis, national goalkeeper, and really has equipped himself well. 3-0 versus Harborview, 2-1 versus Racing, 2-0 versus Chapelton, and now on the way to a 2-0 win over Arnett Gardens. Would be the highest ranked opponents that Mount Pleasant would have faced in the last 4 games. And business as usual. So really a strong performance here. Not really threatened. There are glimpses and moments, and this is a quality Arnett Gardens team. But Mount Pleasant just too good for them today. Walsh still not with a touch as yet. Wonder if he will get a touch in the next 4 minutes or so as the ball is played forward now for Devontae Campbell. Who could help him to get a touch? Devontae Campbell now is being pushed off the ball by Jones all the time. Both players go to the turf. Referee says that is fair. So Walsh won't get the ball here as Jaheim Thomas now picks it up, goes right hand side. Here comes Thomas. Ricardo this time back inside to Jaheim, but can't get it past Dyer, who will now play to Green. Green controls with the left foot, comes back inside to Thomas. Thomas turns, pokes it over to Bailey, who will go back to Chambers. Chambers turns, invites the pressure, and then he goes over the top. And Devontae Campbell off the chest, just a chest pass from the ear to Irvin. Irvin now moves it outside and back to Devontae Campbell, but just falling all the time. That's like the 3rd time or the 4th time he has fallen to the ground. Here is Thomas now. Wants to come outside, he does. Gets it as far as to Bailey. Bailey looks inside now, wants to get the first touch for Walsh, but cut out there as it's as far as Shea Smith now. Smith can't pass Bailey with the pass, who for me would be the man of the match here. Really a solid shift put in by the man Bailey. And got the cross and the assist for the first goal. Here is the ball now played across. And Mount Pleasant still not easing up, so to speak. Good intensity levels. Professional display, probably the appropriate word or the appropriate way to describe their performance today. Just doing what was necessary. And as Devontae Campbell now again making himself a menace over on the right hand side, and Thomas just out of frustration just boots that one into the crowd. And 4 minutes have elapsed of the 6 indicated by the officials. And inside now for Walsh to get his first touch. And already was turning to shoot, but blocked by Arnett Gardens. So Mount Pleasant not letting them out here. And Thomas comes across. Clear their lines again. So here is throwing. So that's the last rights here really. Game really over as a contest. Into the 6th minute now. So can get the whistle at any time as Ming just pushes it past Taylor there and comes forward to Green, back to Ming. Don't think Mount Pleasant interested really in any more goals at this point. Just want to keep possession as Ming draws the foul. And just some smart, experienced football here now being played to get it over and done with. Here is Thomas now. Turns. Irving will go wide to Dyer. Comes inside for the return pass. Still Irving. Comes to Campbell, who should come back here, but really wanted to go forward. But should have come to Johnson just to retain possession. Nothing much left in it now as ball now inside. And Arnett trying to line up Willis for the shot, but his toe poke will go out. And that should be that. That should be that for the end of the game as we focus our attention on referee O'Shane Nation. Don't expect any more action after this goal kick as Nation walks away and still waiting for the goal kick here from Chambers. The watch will tell him that it's over. And here is the final whistle. Referee Nation says it's all over. And after 90 plus 6 minutes, Mount Pleasant will leave here confirming first place with a workmanlike 2-0 victory over the host Arnett Gardens. As we see the highlights here, Nelson got us underway. Here was the ball inside from Irving, and Edwards rose to the top. Looked to have been an handball. Wasn't in the end. But here is the goal of the game. Candidate for goal of the season. He rocks and twists and turns. Leaves Jones for dead. And a bullet from a gun there from Anglin to give Mount Pleasant the 2-0 lead here at Arnett Gardens. That's all she wrote here. So 84 points and first place confirmed.
Gentlemen, 3 points on a clean sheet, a dominant performance. It's very rare that we see a team overpower Arnett Gardens in the jungle. Tell us how it came together for you boys tonight.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank the Lord for the victory and the clean sheet. We did start off really strong, but in the second half, we made some changes, and you can see we have a big impact on the game.
Yeah, the game by storm, you scored 2 goals in the first half. I would say that was a strong performance.
Well, yeah, it was a strong performance, but to me personally, we wasn't the best team in the first half, but we didn't play well in the first half, and we managed to win the first half.
What does this say about the team going forward, especially with the end of the third round close?
Well, the aim is, the aim is to win the trophy, but in this, going to this semi-final, we have to just be mentally ready for this semi-final, you know what I mean? Because it's a rough game coming up, so we have to just be ready.
Yeah, this is 21 and the longest regular season. We've had 39 games. How important is it, you think, for the team that you may afford the opportunity to get some rest?
Well, we have a big squad, so we just rotate when we need to. As you can see, some of the players didn't start today. So that's the coach job to manage the team. So yeah.
Jashaun, we spoke before the game and we said that you were going to score.
Yeah.
First shot that went to the bar, then you pull one out of the hat. How you feel about your goal and your contribution?
Well, I feel very excited, to know that I'm on the score sheet again for my club and for my fans as well, what I mean. But from the get-go, I tell myself that I want a goal, and I'm gonna go out there and fight for that goal, and it come, and I've just give thanks and praise for that goal.
And Kyle, despite missing the absence of Sulman Kala, you stepped up as captain today. How important was your performance in this victory today against Arnett Gardens?
Well, it was really important. We didn't have the skipper today, so after like double what I normally do, like communicate more and even like cover more grounds. But nonetheless, it was a good game.
Despite Kimon Bailey playing out of his normal position, the first time he was employed at left back, then he moved to right back. His overall contribution to his game, you would agree, is well deserved for one of the match performance.
Yeah, most definitely. Like he was all over the pitch. His pass percentage was high. He didn't give away a lot of ball. He covered well. So yeah, hats off to him.
Despite not playing the best first half that more Pleasant is used to, getting a goal in the 6th minute really set up the team to relax and push again to get another goal against Arnett Gardens. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel good about that because coming in the jungle and scoring, try to score is really hard because they have the fans behind them. So we getting that goal early, it was an advantage to us.
Finally, what's next for Mount Pleasant, Jashaun, as you go forward?
Well, going forward is the semi-final, really and truly, We have a big game coming Sunday, but really and truly is the semi-final we're aiming for right now in this moment.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Coach Gilbert, a tough loss against Mount Pleasant in the game of 2-0 scoreline. Would you say it probably may or may not be a reflection of the game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially the first half. I think both teams went at it. Good tempo of the game in terms of how the game was being played. And we were extremely competitive. Just made a few errors and unfortunately, but based on how we played the first half, I didn't think we were deserved to be down 2-0. But whenever you make mistakes against quality opposition, then you're going to pay for it.
Lapsing concentration led to the first cross coming from the right flank, headed over by Raheem Edwards. How do you assess that moment of the game?
I mean, we had possession of the ball. It was off a goal kick, and we turned the ball right over. I mean, right down the middle when the team is open, and it's something that we spoke about, how we're going to play, how we're going to set up, what we're going to do. And we go against what we decided, and it hurt us. I'll boil it down to that. It's difficult when the team is set up a particular way, and we go against how we set up and what we decide to do. But I mean, we just have to learn from it and move on. That's why I say mistakes against quality opposition like this, you're gonna pay for it.
The midfield that you went with today with Nelson, Shadiq Wizard, and Raheem Thompson, in some sense, lacked some level of creativity. How would you assess the midfield in the first half before the introduction of James Thompson in the second half?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree with you. We just didn't play in terms of how we should play because they are, especially Nelson, one of the most creative players in the league. But we just didn't connect our passes as best as we should have. And as creative as Jaime is, he turned over the ball in the second half, unlike him, made some decisions. So, to be fair to them, I thought they did well. You'll probably see it from a different perspective. We just didn't connect the passes as we should. We were trying to play at 100 miles an hour all the time, and it's not going to work. Not at this level, not against quality opposition like this. We have to slow things down. Sometimes, build as a unit, play as a unit like what we have been doing for many games, and once we get back to that, then we're going to do better.
And despite not having one goal in this game, talisman was marshal. Fabian was marshaled by Kyman. Despite that, how would you rate his performance?
I mean, he did what he could do. Again, we just didn't play to his strength and to our strength. Again, you know, we have to understand that we have to connect with him, play off him, give and go. We just didn't do that enough tonight. So, I mean, he gave what he could, and we know that we against quality teams like this, we're not gonna get many. Despite that, I thought we got a couple. I mean, he himself, I thought got one and should have done a little bit better. But such is the nature of the game. We just have to pick up this and move on as quickly as possible. You know, we haven't been winning games in the last probably about 4 or so games, and we just have to get back to winning ways and build back the spirit in the team.
As you were United is on 72 points, you're still on 6-7, just 5 points between you, first, second, and third. What's the message will be going forward for the last 2 games?
I mean, we're still eyeing second spot, and we're gonna give it our best shot to see if we can get there. And then if we can't get there, then we want to be in good form heading into the playoffs.
All right, Coach, I'll let you.
Yeah, man, thanks, I appreciate it.
Coach, I think you in the jungle. You must be pleased.
Yes, I think please is an understatement. You know, it's always a tough task coming here and play against an Arnett Gardens team, and I think we would have met our objective this afternoon. We happened to score 2 goals, miss a couple, and kept a clean sheet. So very pleased with the result and a little with the performance.
How important was the first goal, especially the fact that Raheem Edwards, who has been scoring and has been improving as a leader, goes along. How important was that first goal in the first innings?
Very important. As I said before, we want to keep the Arnett fan. You know, we want to take them out the game. So that early goal would have settled. But after we scored, I think we divert from our game plan and start to get in a to and fro with the Arnett Gardens team. Latter part of the second half, we get in our game, started to play, we know to play, got our next goal, you know, but I think it was the second half was a much decent performance than the first half.
Jashaun Anglin coming up with another potential goal of the season. You must be pleased that the depth and quality that you have in the midfield. Not just midfield, but the entire squad, because Kim only made it tactically was moved from left back to right back, which allowed him to cover in the half spaces that gave you a more attacking push going forward.
Well, yes, I'm pleased again with Jashaun Anglin. Luckily, the last one he should have rolled across the goal. They are 3 more pleasant player, but pleased with Anglin's performance.
Another clean sheet, you must be pleased with the clean sheet, because despite scoring, it's very important that you don't concede, especially as you prepare for the semi-finals and potentially finals going forward.
Well, yes, that is one of our objectives that we want. At all time, we want to keep a clean sheet. I think we have enough going forward, can get goals. So, as I said before, another decent performance.
And it wasn't just a matter of clean sheets, it was a matter of really nullifying the Arnett attack, which is something that very few teams are able to do.
Well, yes, again, when you look on the opponent, we prepare according to our opponent, and we know the threats that Arnett possess, and as I said before, we happen to keep them at bay this afternoon.
Celestine was simply almost unplayable today. They had a run at their left back being got a better of him in coldest times. You must be pleased that the product that coming from the academy is finally bearing fruit.
Well, yes, not only, I would say not only I was pleased about it, but the owner, Peter Gould, you know, because he has invested a lot, and to see players coming from that rank up. And not only Celestine, we have a young Miguel as well, and a few more. So very pleasing to see them coming. So it encourages others that once they're performing, there's always place for them.
All right, Coach, finally, as you're going forward, there's a couple of games remaining. What will be the focus point going forward?
Well, the focus point never change. You know, it's a quick turnaround time. If you look we just finished playing Monday, come back Thursday, and we go again Sunday. So rest and recovery, you know. We have a big one this Sunday again. So rest and recovery is the main ingredient right now.
All right, coach, all the best going forward.
Thank you.